Andy, you're live, brother.
Yes, we are live here, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a special song just to kick it off because Jesse is a friend.
He's been a good friend of mine. But lately something strange that ain't hard to define. Jesse's got himself a girl and I wanna make her mine. And she's watching him with those eyes. And she's loving with that body.
It's like a baseball game over here. Crazy time. Crazy time.
All right. Hey, trying to have a little fun out there. What is up, everyone? Thanks for joining today. And, I just love doing these Hangouts. And we wanted to have a little bit of fun today because this guy, Jesse Krieger, who's on, man, you guys are going to see him in a couple days. And his interview is very powerful. We'll talk a little bit today about what Jesse does and everything, but ultimately we want to bring on Jesse and have him share with you a little bit about how he leverages social media for his business and how he also leverages social media for book promotion. So we're gonna have Jesse share a little bit, and then we're gonna have about 20 minutes of Q&A. And then at 4 p.m. Eastern, Jesse's dropping off, and Sue B. Zimmerman, the Instagal, is going to be coming on. It's going to be fun. So, Jesse, welcome, brother. How are you, man?
What's up, Andy and AJ? Thanks for having me, guys. And what's up to everybody live on the line?
Was that intro too cheesy
Nice choice
for
of
you?
song. Yeah, I mean, it's not like I've ever heard the song before, so it was, it was new for me, too.
Yeah, what we do over here at the Game Time Movement and the Movement Marketing Summit is we come up with things that are very unique and differentiated. So Jesse, maybe you could, instead of me introducing you, brother, why don't you just tell everyone a little bit about the name of your company, what you do, and what they're going to see from you in a couple days on Thursday when you go live.
Okay, sure, you got it. My business is called Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press, and we help authors become entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs become best-selling authors. And within Lifestyle Entrepreneurs Press, we've got a killer author training program called Bestseller Campaign Blueprint, and we do done-for-you book launches and promotions around one a month, and that's going to be increasing here because we've got a bunch of books that are ready to hit the digital presses. So, awesome. Among other things, I'm also an author. If anybody doesn't know me, I'm the author of a book called Lifestyle Entrepreneur, and hence the name of my publishing company.
Makes total sense, man. So Jesse, I know we're going to get into a lot of the things about how to build a book-based business, and you did a phenomenal job in the talk on Thursday. And so anyone that's out there, just Jesse's been very active in the private Facebook group. So those that are All Access members, definitely feel free to ask Jesse questions come Thursday. If you're not an All Access member, you might want to jump in after you watch Jesse if you're interested. But talk to us a little bit, man, about social media. And number one, how do you use it in general for your business? Like, what are some of the results you try to generate for your business? And then two, maybe a few tidbits on how you leverage it for book promotion.
Okay, sure. Sure. In that order, let's see. I'd say my biggest presence is on Facebook, facebook.com/lifestyleentrepreneur-book. We've got around 24,000 people there in the community. Although, in all honesty, and people on this call may have also experienced this, Facebook pages have become much less useful and valuable than they used to be. So times change, we all adapt. I've got Twitter with 3,000 some people, Instagram. I basically have some presence on all of the social media platforms, but I'd say right now I'm orienting them most towards the publishing and book launch related uses. So I'm happy to talk about how I personally use social media, and I think what might be super valuable is to talk a little bit about how I use Facebook ads in particular for book launches, but it's also equally applicable if you're launching any other type of a program or really even as a list build.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you share a little bit about that, and then in terms of how you use it for your business, we'll just open up the chat, and then you can fire away with answers.
Sure. Well, here's the one thing I'd say is I have two different people that are my sort of social media team, and as an author, it's really nice because you've already got a ton of content. So I have somebody that manages and posts regularly to my Facebook page as well as manages my Twitter account. And the way that they do that is I basically hired them and paid them to read my book and extract some quotes, some takeaways, images, concepts, and to drip those out either as quotes on images or links to articles or blog posts. So basically, just have them amplify new stuff that I publish and promote, as well as recycle and reuse some other stuff that's evergreen that I've already published and had out there. So that's a little bit about the actual structural way that I set up, and I like that because then there's constantly some stuff getting pushed out, and I can jump in personally whenever I want, of course, and publish something to my own account. So that's it in terms of structure and setup.
Awesome.
So I want to hop in here a little bit, Jesse, and think about like how you use social media like for your business. Like, what's your daily routine? I know Facebook is like probably your go-to source. Twitter, I'm assuming, is number 2. But like, in what order do you kind of check social? Do you use it? Like, what's your daily flow for touching base, and what are you sending out on a daily basis for social media?
It kind of varies, but in terms of what I'm personally doing or involved in, like I just lean on the people that help run those accounts and pop in and out as needed. I honestly, though, I probably have the most like interactions and discussions and feedback and everything from my personal Facebook account. So I just got in the habit of I'll friend anybody. Everybody here should send me a friend request. And I don't like post pictures of the food I eat and stuff, but I announce cool new projects, images. We just had some photos that got done, and we put those up. So, I mean, social is like part of. I mean, it's there. It's present throughout most days for me, but I'm not always thinking of like how can I leverage social media more and more.
Right.
I actually look at it as one of the best like paid traffic and ad platforms that you can use, Facebook in particular, playing with some other stuff on like Twitter's ads, and I don't know if LinkedIn has it, but we're getting a bigger presence there.
Yeah. So before we hop into the paid advertising conversation, because I know that'll help people, I want to talk difference. Like you pointed out something big here, and I don't know if these people like are picking this up. You said, "Hey, I use my personal Facebook profile, so go send me a friend request," rather than, "Hey, go like my page." You said, no. Go send me your friend request and talk about that. And I want to see what your take is on this, because this is my take. This is just me. This is not Jesse. This is me. I put lots of emphasis on my personal Facebook page, and yes, I know I'm only going to be topped out like 5,000 people. That's fine. If we can build a following of 5,000 targeted people, great. And I post purposely things about business there and things about my life there. And I'm using my personal to pretty much demonstrate the message that I'm preaching, right? I'm walking it. I'm using pictures to show that. And essentially, from a marketing perspective, this is a way of campaigning those who are my friends on Facebook. They're able to see me living the message. They're able to see me preaching the message. I share things that challenge the way they think. I share blog posts there. Jesse, what's your take on using your personal Facebook profile page for campaigning your target market?
My personal approach to that is that I don't really think of it in those terms. I actually have that's sort of the place where, I don't think of my personal Facebook as a place where I'm like campaigning or marketing or advertising. I almost never post stuff that's like launch related or product related, but that's just for me. And it's more of like, I guess that's the top level domain, as it were. That's just stuff that I'm putting out there. Like, for example, in the last couple of days, I started sharing some new amazing photos that we got done, and that's like actually gotten a crazy response, like over 100 people on each of them, and like dozens of comments. So it's actually turned out to be one of the best communication platforms in terms of actually having reach, which is an important concept with social media. Like I mentioned on my Facebook page for the book and Lifestyle Entrepreneur, yeah, there's 24,000 people there, but the actual reach of any given post that's not boosted or promoted is very small, and almost unfairly so. Um, so does that answer your question there?
Yeah,
AJ?
absolutely. I like getting your take on what you're doing. I want to turn to the chat before we hop into paid ads, because people are asking, like, what do you use to schedule? This is an interesting question because to me there's lots of options. There's Hootsuite, there's TweetDeck, there's multiple options, there's Post Planner. But for you and your team, Jesse, do you know what you guys are using to actually schedule all your posts to the different platforms?
Well, seeing how I have actual people that manage like the Facebook and the Twitter account independently, and now I have another who's helping a lot with LinkedIn, but not so much posting, but rather I've recently realized how valuable LinkedIn is for connecting with people for higher level like coaching and longer term training and stuff. It's like the professional social networks. I put a lot of emphasis on my profile there is very representative of what I'm doing. Got a growing list of recommendations from people I've worked with. So I think each social media platform has its own intrinsic value. Absolutely. In terms of like scheduling and software like that, I don't know if we even use scheduling software because I actually have these people doing that manually. What I would caution against, unless something's changed, is don't use Hootsuite or a scheduler for Facebook. You can schedule posts directly into Facebook, and you'll get more reach that way. You actually get penalized in terms of the number of people that see something that you post if you pre-schedule it with a third-party software. So,
yep, that's true, man. Yep. So for those, what Jesse's saying is natively, we call this natively posting. Go into Facebook, schedule your post through Facebook and their scheduling within Facebook, not from Hootsuite. This is for Facebook only because Jesse's right, they do penalize your reach. So you're not reaching a lot of people if you're pushing content from Hootsuite to Facebook. Just use Facebook Scheduler. It's right there if you're using a page to do that. That's a big thing. The other thing I want to ask you, Jesse, before I throw this back to Andy real fast, is when it comes to building your team, you said you have 3 individuals that are running your social media for you. How did you go about choosing these people? Were these people recommended to you? Did you go to a company? Like, how did you find these people? And ultimately, those that are listening today, how could they apply and find their own people?
Yeah, I use elance.com for like pretty much everything. And I'll tell you on my elance.com, if anybody's not familiar with it, is an online talent platform where you can post a job, request a service, people will bid on that job, you can communicate, qualify them, ultimately hire, manage, pay them, communicate files, everything through the platform, which is great because they have an escrow and built-in protective language for non-disclosure and confidentiality, so you don't even have to worry about agreements and all this other stuff. It's a great clearinghouse for hiring and managing talent. So I've done over $50,000 of business with Elance in the last 5 years, and when you consider the awesome deals that you get there, that investment across 120 plus projects goes a long way. So basically, to answer your question, I put up a job saying a social media manager wanted, and wrote a little. What I do when I'm hiring somebody like that is I'll post something that's opaque but descriptive. So I won't say Jesse Krieger, author of Lifestyle Entrepreneur, is looking for a social media manager. I'll say, online business and training coach looking for a social media manager. I'll talk about myself, but only after I'm in direct communication with somebody will I give them the specifics. And that's just one layer of like security, and also because these are public and stuff, I don't want to broadcast out there everything I'm doing in that way in case people are looking.
Awesome. And there's a question, man, directly for you, Jesse, here in the chat. It's from Nicole Holland, I believe. Yes, and she said, Jesse, at what point in your business did things go from effort to ease? Do you have any ninja tips for building your social network following?
Hi, Nicole. Okay, that's a good question. I don't know if there was a definitive point in time when things went from harder to easier. I think within each project or business I've done, there is a tipping point where you've built something and got it established to the point where you're switching gears from building and developing to managing, running, and growing. And that tipping point's important because you start to get leverage and can bring other people in, which facilitates more ease. That being said, my personal approach is I just reject a philosophy of stress or overwhelm when it comes to business in almost all cases, if possible. I mean, even if something's going to hell in a handbasket, like, it's still just my business, so I don't let it spill over and affect the entirety of my life. That said, sure, it takes a lot of effort to build something where before there was nothing, and entrepreneurship is all about that. So if you embrace the process of uncertainty and change and adopt a mindset that failure is not failure, just forget that word. You try things, some of them work, most of them probably don't. You learn from them, iterate, try something else, and don't let it past a certain point where it impacts you or spills over to the other areas of your life, if possible.
I like this. This is Andy. I see you leaning in here, so I'm going to let you.
Yeah.
lean
Well,
in.
there's a ton of questions that I want to get to. I mean, one is one that I think that actually Jesse could handle with us is from Jason Glazer. Jason said, and this I think makes sense because you are a person, Jesse, which is great, and you also have a product called a book. So Jason's question is, how do you build a brand if your business is based on a product and not a person? I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, here's a great example. It's interesting because now my life and career has sort of come full circle. My very first gig was I was guitarist for a rock band, and we had our own record label, and so I was the product for all intents and purposes, and the face and everything. Whereas now as an author and a trainer, it's another personal brand in a different way. But in between, I had one business called USB Superstore, and as a counterexample, I never even once associated my name or face with that business. In other words, USB Superstore was its own brand, and when I communicated with people on behalf of that brand, even though I was the founder, I rarely used the title CEO or founder. Rather, wherever it served best, I could be, client support expert. I could be, you can adopt any title you want, and people would rarely, if ever, know that I was actually, the guy that started it and built it. And then at some point, once we had a team and everything, I wasn't even communicating with customers and stuff. But anyhow, I'd say to answer the question, like if you have a business based on a product or a brand that's independent of your person, that you can selectively integrate yourself with the brand or have it be completely arm's length. So in either case, right, the fundamentals of building a brand are the same. You need to have a vision, a mission for what you're doing, have a design and branding and everything and the structure set up. And then the promotions are, really focused on addressing customer needs rather than, I think of it this way, as like proving worth versus providing value. Proving worth is, what can I do to show these people that they should work with me? Providing value is, hey, let's talk about what's going on with you and see how we can improve that situation. So if you have an externally referenced sense of value, then that works very well with a business that's not your personal brand.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I will say that for AJ and I mean it's something that we we've had and we keep tweaking and we try different things. But I mean at the end of the day, AJ and I both have our own kind of personal brand, but then we have this thing called Game Time Movement, which is a brand in and of itself as well. In our case though, our personalities and our personas are very representative of the brand and vice versa. So we really market all three of them, if you will. skill. And I would encourage, most people on here that, they say that their business is based on a product, to really look at it and see, like you said, Jesse, I mean, is it completely separate from you as a person, or does it, interact, or is it a big part of your persona? And if so, you can leverage your personal brand to commingle with that product brand as well.
Yeah, the way that I look at it, like in my book, Lifestyle Entrepreneur, I have sort of a quadrant of 4 types of business, which is really a sliding scale of how personally involved you are in terms of being the face and the voice for your brand versus how standardized versus customized your offering is. So just as an example, a highly personalized, customized type of business is something like coaching or consulting, where you craft the actual offer around the specific needs of the client, and you're the one who's delivering it, right? Very hands-on, very personal. The opposite end of that is something like USB Superstore, which has a product that meets a demand in the market, right? We provided wholesale promotional flash drives for people that go to conferences, trade shows, people in universities. They'd order hundreds or thousands of these at a time, and it was a standardized thing, right? You buy one of the few types of USBs we offered. Sure, there's some customization, but it was completely arm's length from being Jesse Krieger of USB Superstore. There's more USB Superstore, and here's a few people that are interacting with the clients on behalf of the company with the flexibility to choose or adopt any identity you want.
Got it. Awesome, man. So, hey, another thing too. There's just on a side note here. There's a lot of people talking about Hootsuite and other tools, and Seth Knight, who's on. Seth, how you doing, brother? I shared with AJ some of your comments, by the way. Thank you very much, sir. Seth just moved from Hootsuite to Post Planner. So for anyone that missed this and didn't know, but Josh Parkinson from Post Planner did provide a coupon for anyone in the summit to go and download. So or AJ, is that a bonus or is it part of the summit?
It's part of the summit, actually. Though I mean, it's part of the summit. I mean,
so because a lot of people are asking about automating and tools, and I just want everyone to know that go back to Josh Parkinson's talk on Post Planner, and there's a link there. You can get a month, your first month for free on Post Planner. So Jesse, I know you only got about 8 more minutes, and I want to definitely address a few more questions. But I think we were going to do something special today for everyone that's on, and what is it that we're going to do for them, brother?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you, man. We got.
I don't know. I thought playing.
I thought we were going to do something fun. I know we were going to give like a 30-minute consultation. What are we going to do?
I'm just playing around. Look, I don't know how you guys want to give this away, but I'm happy to offer for somebody here on this live call a 30-minute one-on-one strategy session, coaching session. We can go over whatever is most pertinent or applicable to your business, and I don't know how to give that away, so I'll leave that to you guys, but I'll show up and deliver it.
So I got it. Here's how I want you guys to do this and take Jesse up on his kind gesture here. I want you to go over to Facebook.com, and I want you to post a status update on his wall. Now follow these directions. You don't follow the directions right, it's not going to work. Go to Jesse's wall, find him on Facebook, Jesse Krieger, Krieger. Remember I before E except after C. That's how I had to remember that because I kept on spelling it wrong. Okay.
Or in pronouns, but whatever.
Right. So go to his Facebook, put a status update, and say, "Hi Jesse, I want to take you up on that offer. I heard you on the Movement Marketing Summit, and then I want you to post a link, www.movementmarketingsummit.com. Okay. That's the post I want you guys to create. Go over to Jesse Krieger's wall and say, "Hi Jesse, I want to take you up on that offer. I heard you on the movementmarketingsummit.com, and then I want you to post a link, www.movementmarketingsummit.com." So do that. Jesse will respond to you guys. He'll be able to tell you to go to a link or however he wants you to book that time with him, and that's.
And anybody needs to, I don't know if you need to add me as a friend or whatever to do that, but I'll keep Facebook open here so you can just send the request over and I'll accept you right away.
Perfect.
Gotcha.
I love it.
I thought we were gonna do something a little bit, just do like a first one to win type of contest, but that's even better. So guys, 3 things that Jesse. I mean, he's obviously he understands how to outsource and hire people and manage them. So I know there's some questions in there. Denise, a few others were asking questions about how many part-time, full-time employees you have. So I don't know if you saw that one.
We
Jesse.
can do a lightning round if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, we could do a quick lightning round, but I mean, you're an expert in outsourcing things. You're obviously an expert in launching a book and building a book-based business, social media tools. So these are all things, just come to Jesse with the one thing that you really want to delve into on that 30-minute conversation to make sure you get the best use of your time. So, all right, what questions we got out there, AJ? Let's make sure we said we were going to pepper Jesse. Let's pepper him before he leaves here in 5 minutes.
Sure. So one of them is your best tools list, Jesse. What's your best tools list?
Tools for what?
Just your business. What's your best tools list for business?
Top 5 tools.
Okay. I mean, Elance, I consider that an Uber tool. I use it for tons of stuff. I mean, well, there's social, my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. I don't know if those count. In terms of tools, let me think for a second here. Yeah, I honestly do a ton of stuff through Elance. It's very multifaceted. So, I'll get interior layout designers, graphic designers. 99 Designs is another tool I use. It's a design contest website. Dropbox, I use Dropbox is basically what allows me to be completely mobile. It automatically syncs everything between all my devices and so forth. Love this microphone. Gotten a lot of use out of this. The tool. Lead Pages is another awesome.
That is a Blue Yeti microphone, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
Infusionsoft and Lead Pages.
Yes.
Dropbox. My microphone. I think
Awesome.
that's the basics.
Well, by the way, so the Blue Yeti, the Dropbox, Infusionsoft, and Lead Pages are all part of this summit in some way or another. AJ is actually speaking into a Blue Yeti right now. I use the actual cheap ATR 2200 USB, which is actually a great mic as well because I actually gave AJ my Blue Yeti. And the other is, but Dropbox and Infusionsoft, we use that for this summit, and the other is Lead Pages. Tim Page from Lead Pages was on. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he did a great.
I've JV'd with those guys. I mean, Lead Pages is awesome because they just continue to innovate and they do so much for you that it's just one of those services that's so worthwhile. I use it for tons of stuff.
Awesome.
And another question for you, Jesse, is between the brand, like a business brand and a personal brand, how do you balance that? Like when do you need a personal brand? When do you need a business brand?
I would say that now my view on this is, I have a personal brand in a business context. So, as an author, I see my roles as author, publisher, and entrepreneur. So as an author, I'm the forward-facing person, right? I wrote a book, I do media for it, I promote it, etc. As a publisher, I stand right behind the author and act as their secret weapon. So they are the face. Their book is the main event, and I'm guiding the ship, as it were, to make them look great, to execute a great book launch, etc. And as an entrepreneur, that's like my identity overall. So between those 3 roles, I could dance between them on one phone call, or really do an interview about my book, and then I'm fully in the author, role, or have client calls and work on a book project, and then I'm in the publisher role, and then I guess I'm always in the entrepreneurial role.
Nice, I like it. Well, dude, I appreciate you joining us. I know you gotta hop off, here, and Subi Zimmerman.
Got a lot of new friends here.
Yeah,
wow.
man.
It's awesome. Thanks, everybody.
Friends, and then take one off Jesse, man. Just and I want to just say something about Jesse to everyone out there. So when you start to do something and you partner with people and you have people on your events, there's those that some that support you, some that don't, and then there's those that go the extra mile. Jesse has gone the extra mile, man. We really appreciate everything you've been doing to help promote this summit, share it with your audience. Doing a phenomenal job in the interview, and looking to future things with you as well, brother. Just wanted to say
thanks, man. Thanks. I got to jump off in a second, but I see Sue Zimmerman warming up there on deck. What's up?
She's ready to roll.
I got to jump. But listen, I'm doing great, thanks, and I look forward to talking to you as well soon, Sue.
Yeah.
I gotta run, but I hope you guys all check out my interview on Thursday, and hopefully see you in the All Access group, and here's to your success.
Thanks, brother. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
And AJ, I just wanted to, before we bring on our Sue here, I just wanted to say to Seth out there, Seth, I saw your question about going offline, getting people online. I will answer that after we get into the mix here with Sue. So just hang tight, brother. Sue BZ.
Hi, guys. How are you?
What is up? We introduced Jesse with Jesse's Girl, the song Jesse's Girl. But I don't have
Sue. Run around Sue.
I don't have a song queued up for you, but maybe I'll pull one up during the chat. Wow, Sue, we're excited to have you here. Look at that. You got your Insta tags. Can you see mine back there, Sue?
Oh, yeah. Hashtag game time. Bring it.
Hey, and Sue, before we get rolling, can we show everyone the nails? We got to tell them the story about the nails.
Yeah. Okay, they're not in perfect shape today, but here you go. Can you see them all right?
Yeah, oh yeah, we can see them right there. So just so you know, everyone, Sue alternates her nail colors, so her hashtag symbol, I think I'm doing it the wrong way, hashtag symbol comes out, appropriately on video. So, AJ, come into the show, man. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, Sue, I just want to kick this thing off and just kind of dive into this for everybody that's on, because we have lots of people on. So, we're talking about all things social. You are ridiculously good at Instagram. You've been crushing with opt-ins and moving people from Instagram to here. So let's dive into Instagram and what do you do to do that?
You mean here on call with us right now? What did I do?
Yeah, what have you done, or what do you do on a daily basis to drive opt-ins on Instagram?
Yes. Okay. So on a daily basis, yes, I live in my favorite sandbox to play in is Instagram, and I have insane success every day in driving traffic to where I want people to go. So whether it's here on a interview with you guys, or it's an opt-in, or it is an event or a download, I lead with giving value. I think it's that simple. I really try hard to craft the perfect Instagram post, whether it is a photo or a video, and make sure that I do have very high standards with how I do that. And in the description on Instagram, where I tell you what action I want you to take or what value you can get from the post, leads people's eyeballs to the bio, which then ultimately leads them to the call to action in the bio, which takes you all to where I want you to go. And you guys know, but I don't think all the listeners know, that we do have 7 different Instagram accounts, and depending on which one you may be on, you'll see a different opportunity, a different download. And there's reasons that we have different accounts, which we can go into if you want. But to answer your question directly, AJ, I think so many people get stuck on what to post and how to have the perfect Instagram account. And I think if you think about who you are, who you're trying to serve, what value you're trying to give, and do that, you can take them where you want them to go.
Huge. And so this is a reoccurring theme within the summit, and a lot of the social mentors who crush it social, they talk about this thing about leading with value. Now, for the sake of getting all of us on the same page, Sue, what do you mean by value? I follow you on Instagram, so I know what you mean by value. You give actionable content. I can go on Instagram and it's these mini blog posts, and you and I have had this discussion. But for those listening, what is value and how can we create that?
So for me, it depends on which account you're on and what value I'm giving. So let's go to the Instagram expert account, which is a perfect example. And yes, I'm on my phone right now so that I can stay focused on what we're talking about. So Instagram recently announced 2 new tool additions to the app. So instead of just saying that or saying Instagram announced 2 new tools, I took the time to take screenshots of each example of what that was. I then put it in a third-party app called Diptych, one of my favorites, and then I emailed it to myself to bring it over, or I can even do this on Sketch on my mobile, where I then highlighted it in yellow to make it really crystal clear to the follower what I was talking about. Because if you just stumbled upon this post, you might not stop, or you may be a little confused, but I highlighted it to give value. And then, to your point, AJ, that microblog, that terminology that I frequently use when I teach Instagram, you have the opportunity to be microblogging. It's so cool because I don't like writing, but I love posting on Instagram. And yes, I can craft something, and sometimes my grammar's not perfect, and sometimes I make a spelling mistake, and then I go back and I fix it, because you can. But to stay on topic here, after the post, to add more value in that microblog, I literally took you step by step on what I was talking about, from the visual to the words. And then, because I know I can get more punch when I add my favorite emojis, there's that orange high energy. And yes, that's why I'm wearing orange, because it's high energy. So then you get to see even more value in that content. And what's so great about this is I posted it late last night. I got 120 likes, and our bar is, according to Rachel, who's probably on the call listening, we have a bar of 100 likes for our company. Like, that's where we set our bar for knowing it's a good post. But we also set the bar to making sure that people are engaging and seeing value. So value for me, AJ and AZ, comes with the comments and people thanking me and tagging other people and just saying, you know, you are the Instagram expert. I love this tip. I didn't know they updated the app. It's validation for my efforts, my time to give value to you all, because you're trying to be better on Instagram and understand how to use it for business. So that's just a really poignant example.
I like it. And when you talk about creating value, this, because I'm curious, actually, kind of selfishly, just to kind of give me some contrast for my own thoughts on creating value. When you're thinking of creating value, one, it's a mindset shift, and it's a way of perceiving the world. It's like putting on this new pair of glasses with this new lens that you start perceiving the world through once you put them on creating value via Instagram or whatever platform we're on social. I do this through written word, and like when I'm posting on Facebook, I kind of do this mini blog post thing, and people seem to like it. And so I craft my idea, with words, and then I will find a picture to then convey the same value, or to convey the message via, that's in the text. I convey that visually. For you, Sue, do you start with the visual, the picture first, and then craft the mini blog post, or do you craft the mini blog post and then figure out how to visually convey that on Instagram?
Always the visual first for me. Always.
Okay.
Always, always. Now, I will say that in my mind, I know I need to inform my ideal followers with the latest changes on Instagram. And those of you that love Instagram and follow me know that there's been a lot of changes lately. So I know that it's my duty to produce that content, and I always want to do it in a high energy, fun, engaging, authentic way, because those characteristics are all part of my character, and what you see as the whole story of who I am and how I give value, back to that word value, not only in my business account, the Instagram expert, but also on my personal account, Sue B. Zimmerman. And so when I say value, because our standards are so high, the value starts on Instagram with the image. And if that image doesn't have great lighting, or isn't in the native form of what Instagram is all about, which is like honestly being in the moment and capturing life's moments as they unfold before you, then you shouldn't be posting it. Or you've got to think about in what context are you posting that, and will your followers appreciate that? And so it's taken time, and I know now exactly what people like. People like seeing me doing, my life casting photos on my personal account and knowing where I am and meeting up with me when I'm there and connecting with me or some aspect of my life. And it's really cool. I mean, there's this kinetic, magnetic opportunity to be connected to people, even if you cannot meet them in person. And I just want to take this thought one step further because of Andy, and he's smiling. So all of you need to know that Andy and I met this summer. And when I was rollerblading on the Cape, Andy was working out, we were chatting. We had never met each other in person until about a month ago. And we were able to form this real, this authentic, this caring relationship where we mutually gave advice and tips to each other in our businesses, and it grew to this beautiful relationship to the point where I feel so close to these two handsome guys and want nothing more than to see them succeed in all that they're doing, because isn't this friggin' movement, Game Time movement, phenomenal? And they have amazing speakers and they deserve all the success coming their way. And I just know that we connected first online, and we're talking about social media. We're not just talking about Instagram. We're talking about opportunities where you can authentically create amazing relationships that help you in your business and help is solving problems. I'm not talking about help make money. Like, the money part comes way later than the helping and the giving and the value. And the energy around that is a beautiful thing. I mean, it makes you just want to wake up and do social media and not feel like, ugh, I got to do social media. It's like, I can't wait to check in with my pals on social media, right?
Exactly. Andy, I want to throw this back to you, brother, to field some questions, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, Sue, the feeling is obviously very mutual, and you're choking me up a little bit, so we're going to have to go to some questions. But, wow, we had some great conversations when we first met, didn't we? Back in the day, early, catching up in the morning. It was awesome. So, all right, let's get some questions for you, Sue, because we got some good ones, and my mouse is so a couple of things. Let me see here. We had Jason had a question. I got to get to it now. Sorry, AJ. And I wanted to. Do you see Jason's question, AJ? Or
I got it here. It
yeah,
is,
get it real quick. So I wanted to go to Jason, then I want to hit Katrina, Seth. Katrina, Matt, and then Seth.
Okay,
awesome.
Cool. So Sue, this is from Jason. He says he wants to ask you a question, especially for creating content between your personal brand and branding the product. And right now, his Insta page for the company is mostly product shots, but quality content is difficult to create affordably. So I'm assuming his question is, like, how do they blend this, because it's product-based, how do they create the personal brand and the company page, but yet don't spend a shit ton of money on creating these product shots?
Okay, so hashtag shit ton is my favorite hashtag, but you can't use it, because I do.
I'm going to get on an orange shirt, by the way, just so I can be with you.
So
Go ahead.
AJ, can you please tell me his account? I'll look at it while we're talking, because I'm that visual thinker and I need to look to give the best advice. So can you spell it out? The account.
Let's see. Jason, post your account here, brother, in here in the chat box, and then we'll look at it.
Yeah, I'll look at it. But while he's doing that, so the question, if I'm hearing it correctly, AJ, is how to differentiate between myself and the brand. If you are the brand,
how do you differentiate between you the person and the brand if you have a product-based business?
Okay, so I do have a product-based business. So is the example similar to Subi-Doo, my store, like the product?
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's go with Subi-Doo and Subi Zimmerman. That's a good analogy there.
Okay, so my store account, subidoo.cape Cod, maybe you guys can type that in the chat so people know that account name, is where I sell subidoo.cape Cod. So that's the account handle for my store on the Cape. What you all need to know first is that when I started my journey on Instagram, I was Subi-Doo Gal. That was my account name. Someone had the name Subi-Doo, which is the name of my store. And so adding Gal was my workaround to getting the branding with my name, because there's always a workaround in my mind with your name on Instagram. If you don't think you can get it, I can tell you some workarounds. Anyone that has a question with that, ask and I will answer here. So it was called Subi-Doo Gal, and then after growing a following there and working with Morgan, one of my team members all summer, she said, Sue, you're more than just Subi-Doo now. We can brand Subi Zimmerman. You're teaching social media. You've been teaching it for 7 years. Your name is synonymous with social media. So she's like, I'm like, you know what, Morgan, like within minutes, I'm like, let's search and see if anyone has Subi Zimmerman on Instagram. Someone had Sue Zimmerman. Someone had Susan Zimmerman, which is actually my real name, but no one had Subi Zimmerman. It was like striking gold as soon as we knew that, and then we grabbed it on Twitter, we grabbed the URL, we grabbed it everywhere. So I was super duper lucky. With that said, I'm telling you this story because when I became Subi Zimmerman on Instagram, it meant that I shouldn't be putting my Subi-Doo business in my personal account. It was too hard to understand who I was and who I was attracting, because quite frankly, a lot of people all over the globe are not interested in my little store on Cape Cod selling jewelry, clothing, and accessories with a fun nautical vibe. It's just not what they want. So I opened up another account, and all you need is another email to do this. And now I have subidoo.capecod. So that account has been in existence probably for over a year. And I don't have huge numbers there. I have over 1,000 followers, but I will tell you this. They are the customers that shop at my store in the summer. They are the teenagers that love me to pieces and want to take Instagram pictures all day. And so I know that my target market there serves that audience. And with the posting strategy comes, what am I selling? How happy are my customers? What are some of the new themes going on in fashion, in jewelry? What is the feeling that you experience when you visit me on Cape Cod, where the sunsets are gorgeous and the ice cream is delicious, and just the whole nautical vibe of the Cape, Martha's Vineyard in Nantucket. So that's the feeling I want you to experience when you go to that account. And as you will see on that account, I do have a logo. It's not my face. It is my logo because everyone all over the Cape recognizes my Subi-Doo brand. So I hope that that helps.
Yeah, I see totally what you're saying here. You know, you're making all the value wrapped around the brand of the store, and rather than you, the person. The questions that you're asking are wrapped around the brand of the store and the goods you're selling, rather than you, the person.
Me. Right. And I am such an people call me Subi-Doo on the Cape. In fact, they call my husband Mr. Subi-Doo. It's kind of crazy. But I've had my store, my business on the Cape for almost 10 years. So I have a lot of brand recognition there, and it's fun, and it's a great name. And, you know, because of Scooby-Doo, people remember Subi-Doo, and the kids all chant it. And it's just, it's great, and it works. But I am my brand. I live, eat, and breathe Subi-Doo when I live on the Cape in the summer, and that business charges me so much. And all of you need to understand that it was that store, that success using Instagram, that brought me here today. My success of teaching it, experiencing success, growing my business 40%, made me realize I need to teach every single business owner all over the globe how to do this, because it's amazing. So that's why I'm here today.
I like it. Now here's a question from Katrina Sue. Let me come back into the chat and pick it up.
Yeah, it's basically, I can sum it up for you, AJ. It's
Sure.
basically, Sue, it's a ninja tip. So Katrina says, Sue, I've heard you, and I think Katrina follows you and knows you, so she's seen your posts. She says you typically recommend to use hashtags in the comments as opposed to in the initial post or the description. Why is that, and can you elaborate on that?
Sure, and I'm actually going to be producing a new module to our course, Insta Results, around this. So thank you for that question, because Instagram just recently updated their hashtag policy, the way that you can use hashtags on Instagram. So it used to be that you could refresh your hashtags, meaning put them in there, delete them, and put them in there again, and it would show up at the top of the hashtag feed. Now, when you post your photo or your 15-second video, you have to put your hashtags in there, and you can use up to 30. And it's my opinion that when you put it in the description, it looks kind of desperate and kind of spammy, and it takes away from that microblog post opportunity that we just talked about. So you can put them in the comments below, and you can use up to 30. And so I used to say only use 8 or 10, and now I'm saying you can use up to 30, because if you add them later, the post is still going to be curated within that hashtag hub, the time and date that you added it. So you can't game the system. And I actually like this because, quite frankly, I think it's going to cut down on this whole spamming hashtag bot stuff that's going on Instagram, and it's going to make people really think strategically about what are their 30 keywords and what are those broad hashtags in your industry, the ones that are more a little bit hyper laser focused, and then niche down even more. So to give an example of that, for me, the real specific ones would be Instagram coach, Instagram speaker, Instagram for business, Instagram webinars. Social media would be broad. We love using hashtags when there's events around it, like we were at Michael Port's event, Heroic Public Speaking, HPS 15, and Social Media Marketing World, SMMW 15, and you guys have your hashtag. So when I say, like, what you all should be following their hashtag on Instagram, because anybody using their hashtag, you're part of this community, and we're building a community. We are all part of AJ and AC's Movement Marketing Summit community, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think your hashtag is MMS15. Yes.
Yeah, that's it, MS15. And for those that are wanting to learn more about hashtags Instagram, you have like a book they can go. Can they just go to SubiZimmerman.com and find that book?
Yeah, or they can go to getyourhashtagon.com and download it.
Getyourhashtagon.com. I mean, who wouldn't have that URL?
We need a jingle for that. Getyourhashtagon.com.
And get your hashtag on. Getyourhashtagon.com. I'll make up a rap by the end of this show, okay?
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to throw out something here real quick. Katrina and ERG1 are already trading emails and looking to connect. I think it's awesome when you see stuff like that happen. Fiona has shared that, like us, Sue, how you met AJ and I through social, she met her 2 business partners, and for 2 years they never met, and now they're all together. It's awesome. So
it's amazing, yeah.
Yeah, and so, AJ, I was going to move on to Seth, unless you had anything else.
Yeah, I have another question. It's
okay.
This is a great question that would serve a lot of people, I think. And Sue, this is for you. On Instagram, somebody who's selling B2B, in this example, this is for Matt Anderson. He has an electricity company, I believe. It's already like too far in the chat for me to go back, but I did see it. But if somebody's using B2B, selling like a service like electricity, something we all use, can they find the target market to sell to or connect to generate leads using Instagram?
Love the question, and absolutely, it takes a little bit more work and effort. I feel like especially the construction business is so ripe to get on Instagram because so many people haven't claimed their stake and owned it. I'm going to share a story with one of our clients in the same space. It's tape. It's echo_tape is the account, and they sell tape to distributors, not to the end consumer. So they sell to airplanes and trade shows and carpet companies. And Risa owns this company called Echo Tape that's been in business for over 40 years, and they convert tape. So this is a real hyper-focused market, right? Tape. But, people love tape. People use it to decorate. People use it to fix things. So they've crafted this beautiful account with an amazing posting strategy where they celebrate the employees behind the company. They humanize their brand. They tell you things of value about why the tape is so good, or they give tape tips because people... Let's face it, everyone uses tape, and everyone needs to know how to use tape. Whether if you're going to a craft show and you want to put down that carpet, or if you're trying to fix something in your house. I actually like to take duct tape wherever I go because you never know when you're going to need it, and it's so strong. So back to the electrician, you could do very similar concepts about.
Yeah, he's. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Sue, but I just wanted to. He's actually in energy consulting, like B2B, so it's kind of an energy consulting company.
Oh, okay. So energy. So it's actually the same idea. It's what tips can you tell me about saving and conserving energy, and what visuals would represent that? So is it the windmills that are in the desert as I drove through Palm Springs? Like, tell me about facts about that and why it's good for the environment. Like, tell the benefits of conserving energy and tips that that people are just looking and searching to learn. So there's going to be very specific hashtags around that industry. And what I like about it is I really haven't seen anybody crushing it on Instagram in this industry, which means it's an opportunity, because Instagram announced December 2014 that there is 300 million active users, and there's about 2 million coming on a week. So like in 3 years, it's going to be 1 billion users. So you can really establish a nice market niche around this with a posting strategy. So the posting strategy isn't literally what products do we sell and let's put them up there. As I said earlier, it's the emotional feeling that iconic things can represent. So whether it's a candle, or it's light bulbs, or it's people smiling because they're saving money because they're being more efficient with their energy usage. It's all of that, kind of being green, being global. There's visuals around that. Does that help, you think?
Absolutely. And here's another really good question, Sue, which is, what's the difference between Pinterest and Instagram when it comes to the users and the audience and the reach? Like, what's the difference? Why? So I guess what I'm hearing them say is, why use Instagram over Pinterest? Is it the users different? Do you get more reach on Instagram? Like, is there a reason to use Instagram over Pinterest?
Great question. I want to direct everyone listening to an awesome YouTube video that I did with Cynthia Sanchez, who is a Pinterest expert, and she and I did a Pinterest and Instagram YouTube video, and then there was a blog post that we had written about it. So it's just way too much time to dive in deep, but quickly.
I'll try to go pull the link if I can and drop
Yeah,
it
that would be great. There's 2 links. There's one on YouTube, and then there's one if you just search Subi Zimmerman Pinterest, Instagram. We just did a blog post with we wrote it for another company.
Awesome. It's on your site, Sue, on your channel.
My channel is this one with Cynthia. Yes. So.
Right, cool.
I used to teach Pinterest. I used to use Pinterest all the time for my business. I love the backlink, meaning the link that takes you someplace by just clicking on the image. I find Pinterest, it moves very quickly, the pins move very quickly, and it's noisy. And my experience there is I'll go down a visual rabbit hole very quickly, because I view it as a place to curate things that I want to buy, or vacations that I want to go on, or food that I want to cook. I don't really use it for business. I used to use it more for Subi-Doo. My personal experience being on Instagram is so much more pleasant. It's more fun. The engagement's on friggin' steroids. And when you look at a post on Instagram, you get to see, let me start here. When you open up someone's Instagram account, they are basically opening up their digital photo album to the world, because their settings should not be on private. Let's start there. So you're opening up your photo album to the world, and you get a sneak peek into someone's
Sorry, everyone.
Into someone's life and what they're passionate about. And so you get to have exposure to their whole world, as I like to say it. And within that feed comes each and every post. But what's so cool about Instagram, it's chronologically curated, so you can literally go back in time to anyone's Instagram feed and see the progress or their content. And when you click on their post, you not only get to see what they wrote that we talked about earlier, but you get to see what everyone else is saying about that post. So do you know what that means? It means that if you've been attracted to something that someone posted, and there's 8 or 10 or 20 people that commented in the same way you did, chances are that you might want to reach out and connect with them because you guys are like-minded entrepreneurs with the same interest. So talk about an opportunity to grow your following and connect with other people. It's phenomenal how quickly this happens on Instagram.
Yeah, and as an outsider looking into Pinterest or Instagram, because I'm not hugely active on either or platform currently. I mean, I'm way more active on Instagram than Pinterest. But what I see as an outsider looking in is Instagram is all about building a community. Like Sue said, you're going to have more engagement there. You're going to create a loyal following. Pinterest is more for like clicks to get just traffic, but it's not necessarily going to foster this community, and you're going to have this dialogue back and forth. It's just there's just different reasons. Like I go to Pinterest, or Sarah and I go to Pinterest to find recipes or workouts, but we're not going to sit there and dialogue and have relationships. For me, I think the biggest benefit of having an Instagram community is you have this dialogue, and it's so fast to start building an engaged community and having these dialogues back and forth. To me, that's what I see.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously you know me really well, AJ, and the word community is paramount to my success, yep. Our success, the success that I can give. It's a beautiful thing when you create a community that really engages in your content, and you start to see the same people in that community, which is just awesome. And then they get on Google Hangouts to hear more from you, and they want, you know, it's just no. We as a company are on every platform: YouTube, Paramount, Twitter, we love, Facebook. Definitely, we love it. We have content there that's great, and we've got a great community with our Facebook groups, and we're on LinkedIn, and we're on a lot of them. And I actually just got off an interview this morning, and we talked about this, and I want to hit home with this message. I think it's important, AJ and AZ, for everyone to hear this message, which is, you don't have to do everything. You can't. You can't unless you have a team. If you're a small business, it is so overwhelming, and social media can be overwhelming. And I don't want you to think of it that way. I want you to think of it as a place where you can actually build a community. And Instagram, of every platform that we're on, has our most authentic community, and the people that we just hold near and dear to us, and bring them over to our other channels and invite them, and they're there as well. And it takes time to embrace a platform, a tool, and understand it, and understand how to use it well. You heard AJ right now just say he doesn't really use it, but he knows the value of it, because I've really been hitting home with it quite a bit. And he also knows the value of building out a community with a posting strategy and a hashtag strategy. And it doesn't have to be so hard. Like, I don't want you all to think like, oh my goodness, I'm listening to Sue, and now I really need to do Instagram right. And there's no right or wrong way. There's like strategies and techniques that are right. But you've got to start with what feels right for you and your business, and not compare yourself to other people who you think are more successful than you. And define success. What the heck does that mean? Someone can look so successful online but have zero money in the bank. Like, you don't know what the parameters of success are, and people define that in so many different ways. For me, my success is when you have success using Instagram and start making money in your business because you get it. And that's one of the values that I hold really high. And I think you, as a business owner, you've got to decide, who do you want to align with? What people can you trust? What people truly care about you to give you that value, to help you get your business to the next level so that you can start making more money doing what you love. And I just feel like there's just so much out there, and people are so overwhelmed with notifications going off all the time, and noises binging, and kids crying, and husbands needing, like, there's so much. So I just think you've got to hone in on, really, what do you enjoy doing? Because when you enjoy doing it, you're going to want to do more of it.
Yep. And I would like to caveat off of that, and for those listening, each platform, and like Sue said, you know, you have all of these different options. Each platform has its own nuance, and it actually has its own way of creating medium. So like Instagram, if you're a person who is not visual, like you just don't see the world visual, Instagram's going to be a little harder for you to start seeing. If you have an interest in being visual, then you could do that. But if you have like your gift, your own, I believe each one of us has a unique gift, and this even comes into content marketing, whether we're blogging, creating podcasts, or video. We all have our own innate genius. If we're writers, don't try to go produce a podcast. If you're a writer, go do a blog. If you're a writer, don't try to go do a YouTube strategy. You're going to be battling uphill. Go write a blog. If your innate gift is and you're attracted to video, then go all in on a YouTube strategy and go all in on an Instagram strategy to start sharing that message visually, okay? If you're somebody who just likes to write short blurbs, go all in on Twitter or go all in on Facebook. Like, pay attention to your own innate genius and then look at the platform that's going to serve your own innate genius. And then, like Sue said, master that. If it's Instagram, then go out and master it. And I will tell you guys personally that Instagram has been good for us. Like, getting on it, using Sue's strategies. I mean, we picked up more followers instantaneously. We have people commenting things on instantaneously. It's a great way for us to build our engagement pretty quickly without like a whole lot of work. So Sue's strategies work very, very well. But I'm kind of stressing on this is just pay attention to your own innate genius and then go to the platform that's going to serve that. So enough of my rant. Sue, last question before I turn this over to Andy, which is you have multiple multiple accounts.
Yep.
But how do you post that? Do you use schedule later or like how do you schedule these, or are you and Rachel and Morgan individually going in and posting on these different accounts?
Great question. And we used to actively use Schedulegram, and we find that when we post in the moment, we get more engagement. It's more real. It's more raw. It's probably more work. But yes, Morgan's hardly ever on Instagram, but she does contribute to our fun account. For those of you out there that like to see how a company is run behind the scenes, follow at SBZ Team. Morgan occasionally goes in there and posts. Rachel and I pretty much do all of the other accounts. I am the only one that's doing Zimmerman. Rachel and I share the expert account. Rachel and I share Instagal Live. I'm the only one doing the.daily.ig, which is where I share quotes from inspirational speakers, entrepreneurs, thought leaders that I've connected with. And we have a private Instagram account, which is going to be for our Insta Academy, where we're going to be teaching social media experts and marketers how to teach Instagram. I'm doing that with Jen Herman. So for those of you listening that love Jen Herman and her amazing Instagram blogs, know that she and I are creating an awesome course together. But it's not, as I said earlier, and you said it, AJ, as well, I don't feel like it's work. It's what I love doing because I get such positive reinforcement every day. It's that dopamine and that epinephrine that goes off whenever someone comments. You know, getting the likes is one thing. It's great. You want those likes. You get more eyeballs on your post when you do get likes. But when you get a comment from someone that, or a direct message video from someone that says, "Oh my gosh, you've changed my life. I'm actually making money. Your techniques work," it makes you want to wake up and just seize the next day and help somebody else.
Absolutely. You know, there's comments like that have been going on about the summit. And Sue, I mean, I love that you said that because it does make it all worth it. And you know, just so you know, I'm not sure what the person's real name is, but it's an Aussie from Holland that asked that question, Sue Zimenez, and I think it's probably like, I don't know, maybe midnight there, maybe after midnight, and they're checking in, listening to you right now, and there's some great feedback. So
it's great.
Yeah, it's so cool. And AJ, we got some amen, brother, for your words, buddy. So nice little rant there.
For my rant, yeah, that happens every now and then.
And Mimika Cooney, Sue is thebomb.com. I think we got to run over to GoDaddy and get that that URL for you, Sue. So Sue.
Yes.
I got a question for you. This is a great question that Seth asked about an hour ago. So well, maybe not an hour ago, but it was a while ago. So Seth, thanks for hanging in there with us, brother. But Seth actually asked me a question. I want you to answer it because this is like your specialty, and I actually probably learned most of my tricks from you anyways. But Seth asked the question. He said, "Hey, you know, Andy, you talk about hunting and farming, and when I'm hunting offline, so I go offline, I'm at an event, you know, I'm having a conversation, maybe I'm at a networking event, whatever it may be, but he's talking offline, and he could even be speaking, but basically, how do you take people offline and get them to go online to look at your product, to look at your website, essentially, most importantly, to opt into your free thing? How do you do that when you're actually having a live interaction?
Oh, good question. You know, we covered this extensively in my interview with my networking ninja tips. You remember, you guys?
Oh yeah, we do, but that hasn't aired yet. So,
Oh, so it sounds like you need to definitely make sure you grab a ticket. 'Cause you get a PDF. You get a PDF on this one.
April 18th is when you go live for that, Sue. The All Access
Saturday.
members can hop already on that.
Definitely want to listen to my April 18th. An hour of this in how I do it. So as you know, I think visually, so I process things like I don't have to write things down. I put them in my phone. I take pictures. Whenever I go to an event, my gold is a photo with whoever I met, because you never know when you're going to need that photo. For a blog post, to upload in my contact, to put their face there so I remember what they look like and their name, because I meet so many people. I like to, a perfect example of this, I'll give two examples. One is 4 years ago, I met Chris Brogan in person. I had no idea who he was. I was at HubSpot's user meeting, and I had a comp ticket. I was doing pro bono work for a company, consulting, and he gave me a ticket, and he's like, oh, that's Chris Brogan. He's really famous. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, if he's really famous, I need a picture with him, because that's how I roll. So I went up to Chris Brogan, and I'm like, hi, this is my name. Would love a picture with you. I don't know if I said it like that, and I usually don't do that today, but this was back then. And Guy Kawasaki was at that same event, and I'll talk about that in a second. So I asked Chris for a picture, and he's like, sure. So I have this great picture of Chris. 4 years pass. I'm not in touch with Chris at all. Chris announces that he's doing a mastermind in Boston where I live. I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to know what this guy's all about. I love his blogs. I love listening to him and his podcasts. And I invested in a mastermind. I paid to go, and it was amazing. There was only 25 of us there. And then I took a real picture, a picture with someone that I actually knew who I was standing next to, that gave value, and it felt so much more authentic. I think he was like goofing off with me, like with one of my big wide open smile posts. And then I went to another mastermind. And my point here is that first photo at least imprinted in my brain that I had a connection with this guy called Chris Brogan. Even though I didn't really know him, I knew of him, and then I saw his value, and I continued that relationship. And then now he and I are taking pictures together wherever we go and sending direct messages, and we're buddies, and he's amazing, and it's super fun. So I love taking photos, because you never ever know how you're going to use those photos. And it might be with somebody that you deem famous, or a thought leader, or someone that you just was dying to meet. So let's take Gary Vaynerchuk. Well, I don't have a picture with him yet, but someday I will. And let's take Michael Port, who I think is just freaking awesome. And I do have pictures with Michael. And so Michael did a webinar to his inner circle with me. I taught them Instagram. And of course, we had a great picture of us together, so that when we announced that webinar, people knew that we were really connected and knew each other. And it wasn't him pitching me to his group as someone that was going to sell something. It was him saying, I know her, she knows her stuff. And there's that picture, that social proof. Mm-hmm. So I could hit home with this all day long, like the value of photos. And so this goes beyond just connecting with thought leaders and people that you admire, to people that you meet at your conferences and when you're speaking. So no matter when I'm on stage, I'm always grabbing the photo, even if it means like starting my presentation a little bit later, or ending it with a video, and the idea is that I am bringing everyone in to my energy and to my purpose and my passion, and they feel so much more connected to me as a real person, because I'm bringing them in. It's not like, here's a wall, I'm so famous, I'm so successful, I don't care about you. It's like, I do care about you, and I want you to be part of me. So photos, photos, photos. That's why I love Instagram.
And I want to add on this because somebody asked, well, like, what are these pictures? They're totally random, guys. Like, kick your leg up, throw up some deuces. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just have a good time, show up as your authentic self, and have fun. Like, that's it. Like, there is no, like, you have to stand this way. Everybody pause.
Wait, should I give my 3 things you have to do if you're going to be on Instagram?
Yeah, sure, let's do it.
You want to do it? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a YouTube video on this as well, you guys. A little entertaining with Sue B right here. Live, brought to you by the Google Hangout. So so there's 3 things I teach people. If you're going to take an Instagram picture, it's not putting your hands on your hip. It's not putting your arm around your buddy, or maybe a little bit of that. And it's not smiling like, it's smiling like this. With your mouth open, because there's a little energy, you can feel it, right? So you look at all my pictures, my mouth is open. The other thing I love to do, like AJ said, like kick your leg up, put your hands up, have some energy in the air.
Let's do it right now. Hey, Robin, I know you're listening. Get out your phone and take a picture of this and put it on the Instagram, please.
Yeah. Put your hashtag.
AJ, what are you doing? Are you just going to hold the mic? Come on, buddy. Get in the mood here, AJ.
Yeah,
you know how I roll, my friend.
Yeah, and then the last thing, you guys know me by now, I take my signs wherever I travel. Kid you not. And so I bring these so that I say to people, let's take a picture, and they're like, okay, what do I do? I'm like, just hold the sign, point to the sign, out with the sign, down with the sign. So they're just fun, and this is how I have branded myself. I'm not saying every one of you needs to do that, but figure out what's going to make you stand out in your photos that's real and authentic and comfortable. And I do know that a lot of people don't like getting their picture taken, and they say, Sue, stand in front of me. Like, Sue, stand in front of me. I don't want my picture taken. And they get behind me. I'm like, just get behind me and we'll do something fun. So it's just having fun and letting people know that you have fun living the life you're living, traveling where you're going, being where you are, investing in those conferences. And it's like,
you know, what I want to say too is that, you know, what people like a Chris Brogan and, you know, and a Sue B. Zimmerman and any person in general want, you know, any normal human being to do is just to be a human being and to have, you know, a lot of fun doing it. You know, what they don't want is you walking up to them being like, oh, Chris, you know, you're awesome and, you know, whatever. Like, they want, you know, you to engage with them. Sure, they want to know that you know that, hey, you've done your homework, you know who this person is, maybe share with them something that they've done to help you or whatever, but be a normal person, be fun. That's why Sue is an unbelievable networker, because she's a normal human being that has fun, and people like that. It's as simple as that.
People kind of like that.
Yeah, people kind of like people that are normal and have fun. So anyways, I say that because, you know, a lot of times people like tighten up and, like, you know, there's no, you know, the more you can just be you. And, you know, I know Denise commented that she uses this technique as well. Seth is loving this technique. To go one further, and I know we're probably going on time here, but to go one further, I want to answer a couple things for Seth as well. So Sue, let's talk about, you have this product, right? You have your Insta course, you know, you have your hashtag book, you have these other things, right? And
Yes.
You're at an event, and, you know, you want someone ultimately is interested in either your product or getting on your list. What do you do? How do you handle that?
So, I wish I had one with me. So, as you guys know, I have my business cards, which are actually Instagram pictures. Every one of them is different. And on the back is where I have my @SueBZimmerman and my @Instagram expert. But the most important thing to me is not selling something. It's getting them on the list and bringing them in. So, on our website is our strategy guide that people actually have told us they would have paid for. It's that good. So download that if you're listening. It's SueBZimmerman.com. It's also a download on the Instagram Expert Instagram account. So it's super important that if you are trying to grow your list, like I think all of you are because you're smart and you're on this Google Hangout, you need to make sure that you give something of insane value, not just a little download that they could have researched on the internet and figured it out themselves, but you've got to put yourself in it, your spin in it, and your value in it. And so we know what people's challenges are on Instagram, so we did a strategy guide, which anyone on Instagram, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or someone that calls yourself an advanced user, can benefit from. So we're building value and trust. Number one, most important. And once you build value and trust, then people will come on your webinars. People will listen to you on a Google Hangout. People will take the time out of their valuable life to listen to what you're saying because they see value in it. So that's how I do it. I also know that the best way for me to connect with somebody else, if they're in business and they're doing it correctly, on their website, there's usually an About Me section, and all the social share buttons should be there. I just need to connect with somebody on Twitter fast, right away, because I can find from Twitter, I can find LinkedIn, I can go. You've got to say it's up to you to figure out how to connect with them, and not say, call me, not give you your card away, so that you think that they're going to take action. You've got to take the action, and it's not that hard to do, because all you have to do now really is Google somebody's name, and you can easily find what you want and connect with them where you want. So, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, AJ.
I was just, if you have feedback on that, Andy, go for it, because I was going to shift gears here.
Oh yeah, no, because there's a couple more points I want to make on this, because
Okay, sure.
the other point to make on this is that, so the other thing, Seth, is that you want to be ready for this as well, right? So when Sue, Sue has these amazing cards, but she has the ability to actually, really do a great job in, in having herself prepared for that interaction, right? So after you offer this value and you guide someone to, the link, say, hey, even if they want to buy something from you, sometimes just say, you know what, why don't you go download my free guide, and then connect with them on social, but make sure you have that prepared. So, for those of you out there that don't have a great lead magnet or a website yet, or just maybe it's not where you want it to be, you can go back to Tim Page on this this summit, or just anywhere. Create a landing page, have a great free giveaway, and just make sure that that's where you drive people all the time to build your list. And anytime, what Sue does also is that Sue, she does calls all the time, and every time she does a call with someone, she has an opportunity to add them to the list. So anyone that reaches out to you with you or does a consultation, make sure that they're going onto your list as well. And on those more intimate one-on-one conversations where they have reached out to you, you can absolutely sell them something if it makes sense and you can provide them some value in that sale. So that's all I got, AJ.
And to kind of, because let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. Sue, is there anything that you want to kind of, like words of wisdom that you want to leave everybody with that's on today?
Yeah, so I think what I see as a reoccurring theme when I coach clients and get on these calls like Andy was talking about, and just meet people in person, is having confidence to do it. Like putting yourself out there and being a little bit vulnerable. And we all get vulnerable putting ourselves out there. I want to tell you something. Every time I get on a webinar, it's like you're having a heart attack because there's so many things you got to remember to do, and the light and the speaker and the, just where am I looking, and it's just like, it's okay. It's okay if you're not perfect. And having the confidence to be you, authentically you, not who someone else wants you to be, but who you really are at heart, is so important. And I think people struggle with that confidence because they're afraid that they're going to fail, or someone's going to judge them, or someone's not going to think they're so great. They put a post on Instagram and nobody's liked it, so they feel like they failed. And you've just got to use it as a learning experience. Like, okay, they didn't like that content, maybe they'll like this content. Let me try again. That's number one. And number two is, I come from this attitude of, like, I don't give a shit what anyone thinks about me. Like, I feel so good with who I am, what I do, and how I do it, that if not everyone likes me, that's okay. And I know that I attract, I have a great network, a great community that I attract, and so you've got to let that go too. It's like the pleasing, people that feel like you have to please everybody. You don't have to please everybody. You just need to please the people that you're really trying to serve and help and sell to. So those are my two reoccurring themes that I listen on my calls and hear what people's struggles are. The third one, and I mentioned this earlier, and you both hit home with it in themes throughout the whole movement, I know, is this overwhelm, this sense of overwhelm. And, people say to me, like, do you ever sleep? I'm like, yeah. Like my head hits the pillow when I'm out in 2 minutes. And I get 6 to 8 hours a night because I need it. And I do all the self-care that I think is important to run a healthy body. And with that, I know AJ, I know you both are so in this game with me where you've got to be hydrating with water more than anything else. You've got to be fueling your body with the healthiest food, and know that my degree's in nutrition, by the way. And when I say healthiest food, I mean treating your body like a temple, because without a healthy body, you don't have a healthy mind, you don't have a healthy business. I'm not saying being in the best physical shape. I'm saying taking care of yourself, getting a manicure or pedicure for the ladies out there, of course, and getting a massage and taking care of yourself and making time for yourself and scheduling that in if you feel like you can't. Because if you don't take care of yourself, you are not going to succeed in your business, period. And that's what I want to hit home with. You've got to take care of you.
Awesome. And I would agree with that. And by the way, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did join you in the orange, and I think Carol out there, Carol, we love you. That's her special shout out to Carol. We have a very large Canadian presence today. We have people from, we have an Australian in Holland, as I mentioned.
Who's here? Wait, who's here from Australia? Is it someone I know? I want to.
It's Susie Menes. I'm not sure if I'm, I don't know if it's Susie.
Yeah, her name is Suzanne. She goes by Susie, and so yes,
Wow.
Suzanne Menes.
Yeah.
I love my Australian community.
Well, she's Australian, but she's in Holland right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes. So, in which, by the way, if I remember correctly, I think Holland's football team is orange and white, right? I mean, we got this orange thing going here. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
that might be the Netherlands. Sorry. Actually, same thing, right?
It is. The Netherlands and Holland, it's the exact same thing.
Sorry, Suzanne.
Okay,
Sorry.
I don't talk about sports or football or any of that, so just let you know.
Hey, at least I know the colors, though. I might get my countries wrong, but hey, what can you do? Anyways, I love that the Movement Marketing Summit is a global summit. We really appreciate everyone being on. And AJ, I'm going to turn it over to you to wrap this puppy up, buddy.
Yeah, man. So we've been giving you guys like ridiculous guests today. We brought on Jesse to share exactly what he's doing on social. We talked about Elance, we talked about Odes, we talked about how he's outsourcing. We brought you guys Sue today to share exactly what she's doing on Instagram, and we're doing everything that we can to over-deliver. If you guys have not picked up the All Access Season Pass, go do that, because there's so much benefit going on in the exclusive private group where everybody's going down. There's live coaching on that's going there. Some of the speakers, most of the speakers are actually there, and they're interacting with everybody. Some of them have even threw in strategy sessions for some of the clients. There was a specific
Talk about the bonus, AJ. Talk about the bonus on the Cape.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get there. But this one specific instance, somebody there was asking about setting up a small workshop, and you guys remember Jean Hammett was talking about how to do that. Well, she had a few questions, so rather than just dialogue with him back and forth, he's like, hey, let's hop on the phone, and he gave her clarity immediately. So that was a big deal that happened within the exclusive Facebook group. That's not just happening in this participation piece. Now, the other thing that Sue's talking about is in October, or maybe September, but I think we've decided in October officially, there's going to be 5 of us who are going over to Sue's home on the Cape. Not in the Cape, but on the Cape, right? And we're going to be...
Good job, AJ. On the Cape.
I'm a quick learner. We're going to be building out your business. I mean, we're going to be strategizing everything that you need to do, from building your audience with Instagram to getting crazy exposure with Twitter to figuring out what is your lead magnet, who is your audience, what is your brand, what is your message, like giving you feedback on everything you have going on. So we're going to be spending 2 days on the Cape with Sue at her private home there, having one-on-one time with her, with myself, and with Andy. So those 2 days will radically transform your life and business. So you're going to have a chance to win that if you grab the All Access Season Pass. Plus, you're going to have access to 5 live sessions, very much like today, where if you have a question about Instagram, you ask Sue, Sue gives you, bam, here's how you do it if you're an energy consultant. Here's how you do that if you have a product-based business. Sue charges, I think $500 an hour is what she charges, and she's having people here, 60 people here that are getting direct feedback. So we have 5 bonus live Q&A sessions of people. Sue is one of those people. Chris Cerrone is one of those people. Dave Austin, Amber Vilhauer, Andy, myself. We're all going to be giving you direct feedback. It's not just us talking to you, but it's something for us to be able to co-create an experience. So you have access to the All Access Season Pass. So if you want that, Andy will drop the link in the chat box. It's just the movementmarketingsummit.com/order. That'll take you over there. So go pick that up. And so that's all I have to say. Sue, thank you so much for being here with us, for everything that you have to do. And I know that we have a time, Andy and I personally, to talk to you next week. So we're looking forward to talking to you then.
Yes. Thanks, you guys.
You bet.
Thank you, Sue. We love ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.